Hello and welcome to the Reality TV Cringe podcast. I am one of your hosts, Beatrice, and I'm by myself this week. I don't have Delia, my partner in crime, because she is still recovering from her surgery that she had a couple weeks ago, and she's still not 100% feeling up to talk mad shit about these lunatics on our TV. So she still needs her rest, and I'm just here taking over the show, just for this week while she's still recovering. And next week she hopes to be back on the pod like normal, hopefully like with no issues or anything like that. She doesn't want anybody to worry about her, so please don't like be afraid or anything. Like, she's okay, she's just still recovering, and recovering takes time, you know, after surgery, y'all know. So she's doing okay, she's just resting. So I am here and I am a little lonely. So I found this broom in a dumpster behind the 7-Eleven, and I put Delia's wig on it. So those of you on audio listening, you don't see this, but YouTube, you'll see this little prop over here. And we're going to pretend like she's sitting in. This is my Wilson, okay? Because I'm on this island of reality TV cringe by myself. All right. So to issue the disclaimer, which I never usually do, but hide your wife, hide your kids. This is a politically incorrect podcast, especially with me on here. Okay. I am offensive. I got dumb opinions. I'm objectively stupid. So if you're sensitive, I don't know why you're here, but like, bye. And if you like what we do over here, please be sure to follow us on the Instagram at Reality TV Cringe, and join us over on Patreon in the VIP dumpster, patreon.com/Reality TV Cringe. We have so much bonus content up there. It's really lit, and it's the best way to support you girls, so we can keep doing this podcast for you guys. And if you're on YouTube, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hype up our videos, because it does help us get boosted in the algorithm. And we are still like slowly on the climb up to 6,000 subscribers. I don't know why it's taking so long. I feel like we're getting shadow banned. But if you could, you know, do all the things for the algorithm, that would be really helpful. Okay. So this week we're going to cover Sister Wives. Last week we missed episode 6 because Delia had just had her surgery and we just canceled everything. But just to give like a brief recap from last week's episode, we had Kody Skyping Mary and Janelle to talk about like an offer that they got on Coyote Pass. And that shit was awkward as hell to watch, man, because Mary and Janelle don't want to be there. They hate Kody's guts, but they're just not saying it because, I don't know, they're trying to be nice. Why? I don't get it. And Kody is like performing as all narcissists do. He's trying to act all nice. He's trying to act all cordial. He's like, I don't know why they can't just be friendly to me. Like, what did I do? Why can't they just be friendly to me? Dude, nobody likes you. You're literally the worst person in the history of ever. So what do you expect? Nobody's going to be like chipper to jump on a Skype call with you to talk about Coyote Pass. That should have been settled like 4 years ago. But whatever. So they got an offer on Coyote Pass. It looks like things are moving. Allegedly, he has at this point in time already like moved around the titles so that way everybody is on their own plots of land, or like everybody will get their own 25% cut once everything is sold. So like at this point, you know, I think tensions are still a little weird, still a little high, because they just want this shit over with and they want their ties to Kody to be immediately cut and be done. But Kody's oblivious because he thinks that everybody in the world should love him and should adore him and respect him because he could do no wrong. And so we had that Skype call last week, which was awkward and infuriating. And then we also have Kody telling Robin that he got some email from some woman who allegedly wants to be a part of their life and be a polygamous wife, which is a crock of shit because ain't nobody reaching out to Kody Brown via email saying like, hey daddy, I really want to be married to you because you're such a hunka burning love, and like I would love to be your second wife now that the other women are gone. Like, nobody is doing that, but we're pretending like this happened. And then Robin says some weird comment last week that I just wanted to highlight, that she can totally understand why young women would be attracted to Kody, because he's an older man who is established and he is marriageable material because he's already married. Like, Robin literally said that with her words. Anybody else thought that was weird? I thought that was crazy. I thought she was low-key talking about herself there, but I don't know. It's up to interpretation. And so that was pretty much the gist of last week. I know I'm missing some stuff, but I just wanted to give like a brief recap to catch us up. Last week's episode for me was very infuriating. And honestly, this whole season, in my opinion, is just rage bait. Like, total rage bait. And we're all falling for it, but we all are loyal to the show. And like, we're loyal to like the family. Like, we've been watching for 20 seasons now. Like, we've been following along. A lot of us follow everybody on social media too, because we want to keep in touch with their lives and everything. And we care about the good people on the show. But like, sometimes watching it is just so rage inducing. And I'm just like, am I torturing myself watching this? And the answer is yes. But, you know, we're here. So this week's episode, season 20, episode 7, entitled "You're Like a Stripper and I'm Like the Pole," was also equally infuriating for a multitude of reasons. But like, the title? Ew! I don't want to think about Kody and Robin like that, but we'll get there. So we start the episode off with Mary and Jen at Mary's haunted B&B. And Mary decided it would be a good idea to pull out her boxes from storage of all of her wedding stuff from her and Kody and go through it on camera. And I'm like, was this Mary's idea or was this production's idea? Because to me, it felt just a little awkward. And like, we didn't get much information out of this. We have Mary kind of talking about their wedding and how she didn't want it to be like a completely traditional polygamous wedding because she didn't want the line of people where she had to like greet everybody at her wedding and greet people that she didn't know, which apparently like that's a thing in their culture, that their parents invited just random strangers to their wedding. I don't know. I would never be down for that. And then she talks about how her and Kody wanted to dance at their wedding, especially Kody. Kody was like really keen on dancing at their wedding. And so he wanted to make sure that he had a dance room in a gym, in a basketball court. Let's dance. And then we hear from Kody saying like, I really wanted to like dance crazy dances because back then, you know, rock and roll was like super taboo. And so I couldn't do that. I had to dance very puritanical according to my church's guidelines. So I really sucked because I really wanted to like do my jazz hands and do my pirouettes in the basketball stadium. But I digress. Like, this leads into the rest of the episode where Kody and Robin take dance lessons at some dive bar in Flagstaff, and it's just cringe as hell. But back to Mary and Jen when they're talking about her wedding and like they're going through her shit. She pulls out her wedding dress, and this was cool because I didn't know that like Mary had made her wedding dress, and she's really fucking talented at sewing. Like, I know she sewed a lot of the kids', well, actually all of the kids' like pajamas and stuff like that for Christmases, and that's a feat in and of itself. But like, to make her own wedding dress, and it was actually pretty for the time, like, props to her. And she just doesn't want to get rid of it because she also made it with her grandma, who's obviously no longer in the world now, and she doesn't know what to do with it because she can't give it to like Leon because Leon's not going to use it. And you know, she's like, what do I do? Because it represents obviously like a period of my life where I made it with my grandma, but also it represents my marriage to Kody. So how do I deal with that? And I can relate. I've seen some people being kind of critical of Mary in this scene of just like, you know, why hasn't she just gotten rid of everything? Why don't you just burn everything? And, you know, fair. It's a fair criticism. Like, why hasn't she just thrown all of this shit in the river and let it rot? Because at this point, it's like Kody has discarded her. He discarded her years ago. So why don't you just do the same thing? But I can understand being kind of sentimental and like not wanting to get rid of all of these things because it was such a large chunk of her life. I mean, she was married to this awful man for 30 something years. So of course she'd want to keep it, right? But I digress. Then we get into some letters and things that she had, and she allegedly didn't know that she had this letter from Kody, and so then Jen wants to read the letter from Kody on camera, which I did appreciate because I did want to know the contents of that letter, and I did appreciate the based producers for zooming in on the letter so that way we could read it fully. But this leads into a conversation where Mary says Kody used to write her letters all the time and he used to be very sweet. And so that's why when he said, you know, a couple seasons ago that he never loved Mary and never loved any of the other wives, that was completely disrespectful and completely untrue because she had all of this like written proof to back that up. Now, with the letter though, it's not like he was confessing his love to Mary in this letter. Like, this letter that Jen is reading on TV is mainly about him and his work schedule and going to bed really late, and that, you know, we have to suffer the trials, we have to endure, and then God will be good to us. And, you know, just keep your head up, Mary, and make sure you smile and be pretty because, you know, you're very pretty when you actually smile. And, you know, I love you though, because you're my BFF. Okay, bye. That's pretty much the contents of Kody's letter. So it wasn't like super romantic and super lovey-dovey, but I guess if Mary thinks it was, then okay. But I'm just like, you could at least burn these letters. Like, I understand keeping some of your wedding memorabilia. Like, I understand keeping your wedding dress or like your wedding book, like with signatures and stuff of all of the guests. Like, I understand keeping some things. But like, to keep handwritten letters from Kody, get rid of that shit. Like, why are you holding on to that? It just kind of proves the theory that like Delia and I have said, and many other recappers have said, that like Mary is still holding on to Kody a little bit, maybe spiritually, maybe energetically, because I think that if things were different, she would still want to be married to him to this day. For that reason, I have no idea why. Like, why would you want to be married to this man? But I think Mary still kind of loves him, so she keeps these weird letters for some reason. I don't know. I won't be too critical because I know some of y'all are going to come for me. But let me know your thoughts in the comments about like that whole scene and what you thought about it as well. And then in regards to that letter, we have Kody in a talking head saying that he only wrote all of those letters basically because Mary was super insecure and needed a lot of reassurance from him. And so he was trying to build some sort of confidence for her. And I'm just like, dude, shut up. You weren't building any confidence for literally anybody. You actually were devaluing everyone's confidence, except for Robin's. Like, you were only propping up her, but for the rest of the women, like, you did not care about their emotional or mental well-beings whatsoever, or you didn't care about nurturing the love that you had between them at all. Like, you were too busy working and too busy pining after Robin. And then we had a discussion about the Claddagh ring. So I guess Mary pulls out a Claddagh ring. She had a matching one with Kody. And this one that she pulls out in particular had like a little diamond in it that was given from Janelle's mom. And that diamond came from the wedding ring that Janelle's mom had with her first husband, I think, is what she was saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Mary recounts this as like a very sweet gesture, and she thought that was really nice. And then we get some clarification about the whole like melting down of the ring story, that I guess we all thought that it was Mary's ring that was melted down, but it was Kody's ring that he had matching with Mary that he melted down. And he did this because he didn't want Mary to have a claim over him at all. In that kind of a way. So he melted it down, and some of the gold went to like jewelry for some of the daughters, and then the rest of it went to a necklace that Mary had begged him for years later. And I'm like, okay, I don't know where we're talking about this. We get it. He sucks. I wish we could get more like commentary from Mary about how that made her feel and how shitty that was, and how she felt like he didn't give a shit about her like love for him. Like we get a little bit of a comment from her saying like, you know, it's kind of hurtful that he like didn't want me to have a claim on him, but like I'm also your wife, so shouldn't I have a little bit of a claim on you? Like we get a little bit from her, but this is just par for the course for Mary. It's like we get breadcrumbs and that's about it. And then that's about it. Like we didn't have much in that segment with Mary and Jen. We have Jen kind of like pushing Mary to get rid of all of this stuff and being kind of direct about it. And I do appreciate that from Jen, but at the same time, she might be coming off a little hard to Mary because Mary had just gotten divorced from a 30-something long marriage. So it is a lot, and it's not easy to just like let that go, especially for Mary Brown, who has been loyal to Kody this whole entire time and like still hoped that things would work out for them. So I appreciate what Jen is trying to do and trying to make Mary move on and trying to see Kody for who and what he is, but Mary, I think, needs some time, and I think that she can't be pushed too hard. You know what I mean? Then next we have Kody and Robin going on some dumb date at some dumb restaurant, and this is where they talk about their dumb lives and how they're dumb children. I'm sorry. I just hate these two so much. So, like, every time they're on my TV, I'm just like, God! It just makes me so mad. But like they go to this restaurant and their dumb date and they're talking about how their kids keep them up at night all the time. They're adult children. I mean, I guess they've got Lil Saul and Ari, so that's probably who they're talking about. But like they're talking about their kids keeping them up at night and how Robin wishes it was actually Kody keeping her up all at night sexually, apparently. Ew. And how Robin's like, oh my God, I just can't believe I'm like this old. Like, I still feel like I'm, you know, a teenager breakdancing and like listening to 90s music. I just like want to dance. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I don't even feel like my age. And this is where we get into a conversation about dancing and how they should go for dance lessons. And Robin kind of comes for Kody here a little bit, which is funny because she criticizes his dance moves and says they're terrible. And that he's very exuberant and all over the place. And it's hard for her to try and dance with him because he doesn't really think about her as like his dance partner. He's just out there flailing his limbs around, looking like a total lunatic. And she's just standing there all shy and pretty, you know, not knowing what to do with herself. And so then this leads into, oh, well, we should go take dance lessons because I'd love to like dance tango with you because it's very romantic and like amazing. Like we should go take dance lessons. And Robin's like, oh my God, yeah, I would love that. And then we go to a dive bar in Flagstaff and take fake dance lessons. And I just don't care. Like, I don't know why the producers think that we want to watch content like this, especially with Kody and Robin centered. I would rather watch some of the boring content that we have with like Janelle and the kids out in North Carolina, or Christine and David, or even Mary and Jen going through her old wedding stuff. Like, I would rather watch that than Kody and Robin taking dance lessons. I don't care about their romance. I don't care about their lives. I don't want them on my TV, but here we are. And then we have like Kody just talking about how much he loves Robin. And I don't want to see it. I just don't want to see it. Him talking about emotional intimacy and how that's so important for him and Robin, like how much he loves it. Like, wait until we get to Special Forces this week when I recap that shit because, oh, him writing the letter to Robin, ew, puke-atronic. Like, get that out of my face. But in this episode, you know, they're dancing. They talk about Kody's dance moves. We have flashbacks of Kody's dance moves from previous seasons as if we haven't seen that like a million times. We gotta like put Kody out on display so that way he feels good in his narcissistic, grandiose perspective of himself. And we just gotta talk about like him dancing. I don't care. And while they're at their dance lessons, this is where we get the comment, which is the title of the episode, of Robin saying like, yeah, when you're dancing, you're like the stripper and I'm like the pole. Like, ew. Ew. Why? Tell me this. Why does Robin and why does Kody like need to make these like sexual comments about each other so often? It feels like it's almost every episode now where they have to make some kind of comment to allude to their sexual chemistry. We know that y'all been fucking. We know that you guys love to fuck each other. We know that you guys are soulmates. That's great and all, but I don't want to hear about it. Like, I really don't want to hear about it. It kind of feels like Kody and Robin, and maybe this is Robin doing this, but it kind of feels like they're only making these comments because they want to jab at the other wives, like especially Christine, who, if you guys are on our Patreon and you watched our book club series about Christine Brown's book, Sister Wife, she gets into her and Kody's sex life a bit, and it's pretty juicy. It's pretty terrible. And so I wonder if these comments that Kody and Robin are making about their lustrous sex life are little jabs to Christine and to Mary too, because Mary was withheld physical and emotional intimacy for many, many, many years. I don't know. It just feels kind of icky to me every time they bring it up. It just feels like there's some kind of ulterior motive. And also, it's icky because I don't want to think about them fucking. These two people are not sexy. They are not people I want to envision having sex. And I just hate them. So that's it on that. Then next we go to North Carolina, where we have Janelle and the kids, some of the kids out there. And this segment was kind of boring of the episode. And I'm not trying to like be critical. I think it's great that they are just like living their lives out there and they're kind of moving on from the drama of the family. I think that's awesome. Like we heard from Peyton and Gabe, who's out there visiting the family. Both of them have girlfriends, which I think is great. Like Peyton's got a girlfriend named Ava. Gabe's got a girlfriend named Bree, who lives in Chicago apparently, and he's going to relocate for her. Damn. Okay. That's cool. Like, I think it's sweet that they're moving on with their lives. It's just, it doesn't make for like very compelling television, in my opinion, to watch them talk about this kind of stuff. It's just kind of blah. We do hear though, from Maddie and Janelle. So Maddie is very pregnant. She's heavy with child and she's about to pop any minute. And we have like her and Caleb packing her go bag and like planning her birth and everything, like what they're gonna do and her due date. Like, so she's getting ready to have her baby, and we have just a brief segment with Janelle saying that Maddie has not told Kody or Robin that she's pregnant or having another baby because Maddie has not talked to Kody in 2 to 3 years at least. Yikes. And that's really sad to me. I'm a child that has I have some difficult relationships within my own family. And it's really hard when you become so estranged like that to try and come back together, especially when some of those people that you were estranged from, like Kody Brown with Maddie, refuse to take any kind of accountability or refuse to even address the situation at all. Like, I'm sure Kody doesn't want to reach out to Maddie at all. I'm sure Kody feels completely victimized. Like, I think he thinks that Maddie was the catalyst for all the shit talk within the family. I think Kody feels offended by Maddie voicing her opinions and feelings about her lack of a relationship with her dad and how he very poorly mishandled the family and mishandled all of the moms and all of the children. So, like, I think Kody is just bitter that his daughter's calling him out on his shit. So he would rather sacrifice his relationship with her and his grandchildren than take any kind of accountability whatsoever. And that's sad. That's really fucked up and sad. So that was really the only thing that came out of this segment out in North Carolina was just that comment from Janelle. And it makes me sad for Maddie because, you know, no kid wants to be no contact with their parents. Like, I mean, obviously in abusive situations, it's necessary. Okay. But like, no kid really wants that. That's not the ideal. Like, every kid wants to have their parents in their lives. So I don't know. I felt bad for Maddie, but I'm happy that she's got so much supportive family out there. I'm glad that Janelle's out there with her. I'm glad that a lot of the older OG kids are out there as well, and they're visiting. And, you know, I've said this before on previous recaps, so I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like, I'm glad that even though the family has broken up, you still have these clusters of the family that are trying to remain unified, which is great. And then the last portion of the episode was in Utah with Christine and David. And this, honestly, this segment was really confusing to me because I wasn't sure what the fuck they were talking about. Honestly, like, it was all over the place. But we see Christine and David in their kitchen, and apparently they just had a heated discussion. And according to Christine, it was like one of their biggest fights that they've ever had so far. Like, insert the Homer Simpson meme here, like, biggest fight of your life so far. But it was surrounding Peyton. Now, let me try to narrate this, because to me, I was very confused. So if I get shit wrong, like, don't come at me in the comments. If you guys had other perspectives, please let me know. But according to David, he was talking to Peyton about how he is not genuine enough, or like coming off as authentic, because Peyton relies on quotes from like movies and stuff to like illustrate his points or describe himself or something. And according to David, he just doesn't find that acceptable. Like, he just thinks that's inauthentic, and like, you have to be able to create your own character or something. I don't know. It was very weird. And Christine is kind of offended by this because growing up, she watched a lot of movies and read a lot of books with her children. And so her kids love to quote movies and love to quote books and stuff like that, because that's just what they did growing up. And so there's nothing wrong with liking movie quotes. And I'm kind of on the side of Christine. Like, I don't understand why David's being so critical of this. I think it's kind of a stupid thing to be critical of. But according to David, he's just like, I'm not taking any of this personally. I'm just having a discussion because I like to have discussions, because I like to be open to new views and new perspectives. I'm like, okay, but like, you're criticizing Christine's son though. So that's a little iffy to me. Whatever. But this conversation leads into a bigger conversation that's really about inauthenticity, I think, with Christine and like with polygamy. Again, this whole segment was very confusing to me, so bear with me. But like, Christine gets into a discussion about how her life in the past with Kody was so miserable and so terrible. True. And so that she had to escape into books and movies and fake worlds and live a fake, reality, so that way she could cope, because her real reality was so fucking shitty. And I can understand that. I can sympathize with that. But according to David, he's like, well, but that's not the real world, though. Like, the way that you grew up is not the real world. You gotta come back to reality and like be a grown up, basically. He's like, that's essentially what he's saying. And I just think that's kind of weird. I just think it's kind of a thing that's like very critical for no reason. I just didn't understand this segment at all, honestly. And Christine seemed pretty annoyed with David, but she was kind of holding back her real feelings. And she does say this in her talking head, that like, sometimes you just have to bite your tongue and not say how you really feel. And she's still learning how to say how she really feels, because she spent so much of her life, especially in her marriage to Kody, just bottling everything up and keeping it all inside. And that's no way to live. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that and relate to, being afraid to stand in our own truth and be our authentic selves, because there's so much pressure in the world and society to act and behave a certain way. So like, I can relate to Christine here, but I don't know. I felt this scene with her and David was just odd. And it also made me wonder about the dynamics of their relationship. And we've talked about this on the pod, I think a lot last season when we had like their wedding special and stuff like that. Like, it makes me wonder how their actual day-to-day life is, because Christine's an Aries, okay? She's hard-headed. She's the ram, okay? She's gonna be quick to react. She's gonna be loud and kind of annoying. And David, I think he's a Capricorn, so he's the complete opposite of that. And I just wonder how many of these heated discussions they get into. And I wonder if they're only heated because of like how Christine's taking things, or if they're heated because David's kind of critical. Because I don't know. Why'd you have to bring up Peyton using movie quotes? Like, is that really that big of a deal for like a young man to just quote movies and stuff that he likes in a discussion? Like, I feel like a lot of people do that. I don't see anything wrong with that, but correct me if I'm wrong. If you guys had a different perspective about that whole scene, please let me know, because I don't know. I was just watching this. I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we talking about this? I don't care. I don't care at all. And that's basically the episode, really. I mean, there wasn't much to it. It was a kind of a boring episode this week. And again, it's just a bunch of rage bait. But we do have a preview for what's to come. So we have apparently a full offer on all of the plots on Coyote Pass, so they're going to close soon, which is nice for Mary and Janelle only, because I don't give a shit about Kody and Robin closing on that stuff. I don't think those two deserve anything from Coyote Pass. The revenue from that, I don't think they deserve shit, but that's my opinion. So I'm glad that it's going to close for Mary and Janelle, and that's it. Then we have Kody saying that he apparently, this was weird, he got to a place where he was ready to make a backdoor offer with Janelle behind Robin and Mary's backs to sell Coyote Pass from under them. What? What are you saying? Obviously, this is a lie, because Janelle hates him, as everybody does. And like, why would you say that on TV? Like, you were going to sell this property out from underneath Robin and Mary. Like, that's not fair. And then you have Robin in the very next scene in the preview saying that, like, no, excuse me, this is not going to happen. We're going to make sure that this is all fair and square. I'm not going to let this shit go like that. Like, we're going to make sure everybody gets their equal pay. But really, Robin is only saying that to cover her ass, because she, in my opinion, only cares about getting her piece. She doesn't care about the other two. And then we have Mary saying that there's absolutely no trust between her and Robin whatsoever, which I do appreciate. I would like her to elaborate on that. What made you have the falling out with Robin? Is it because she stole your man? Can you just say that with your big girl words, Mary? I would really love to hear it. And then we have the infamous, which we've already seen previews of, the standoff of Coyote Pass with Mary, Janelle, Kody, and Robin. So we'll see how that goes. I hope we get into that next episode, because that would be really nice. And hopefully we can catch up a little bit in terms of the timeline. But, you know, I say that every episode and it never happens. But that's it for this week with Sister Wives. Stay tuned for our Special Forces recap this week. It'll be me. And Seeking Sister Wives as well. I'll be sure to cover the newest episodes on that. And if you love our podcast, please be sure to go to your favorite podcast platform and leave us a glowing 5-star review. It really helps us grow the pod, and we really appreciate it. So thank you very much. And thank you for bearing with me as I hold down the fort and talk into this microphone, scream into the void about all of my opinions of Sister Wives. Send your well wishes to Delia. She'll hopefully be back next week, but never forget that we have nothing but love for you guys, and peace out. I'll see you later.